Ah, beautiful friends, beautiful souls. I hope that you're having an amazing day today, and I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. 111 concurrent users. A magical number indeed. Let's see. Let me turn this up. See if I. Yeah, there we go. Let me turn this up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? How you doing, friends? How you doing? Hope everybody's doing great on this beautiful Moon Day Monday. Moon Day Monday. Gorgeous, 82 degrees in Sedona, Arizona, high up in the high deserts in the canyon. Great day indeed. Hope you're having a great day. This thing's in my way. Just made myself some tea, so I can chill out and answer some questions that were put in the chat room. Let some more people flow into our little soiree first as I prepare my tea. Would you like some tea and a biscuit? Hello in the chat room, Dawn and Karen and Danine, Anastasia, Jelly Belly. Sometimes I wonder how you people come up with these names. Like someone's in our members down below is Dill the Pickle. Like, what even makes you come up with such a name? But they are a supporter and a member of the tribe, and you can vibe with the tribe by smashing that subscribe, or down below you can support this community, or you can join the Awaken Your Spirit community on Subscribestar. Is my sound coming in good? It should be. Everything should be good. It says my connection is great. Actually, it says excellent, not great. It says excellent. Excuse me. Tea time. It's 4:42 here in the canyons of Sedona, Arizona. And this is our April Q&A. Questions, you've got questions, and the spirits got answers, baby. Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully they got some good answers. Waiting for more people to get in here. So I wanted to post this early so that we could get more people in here. But the last time I tried to do that, the connection didn't work with the OBS studio that I've been using. So, therefore, I can only just randomly just go without any preparation. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Without preparing you, letting you all know ahead of time. So that's why we're just going to hang out a little minute, hot little minute, until some more people come rolling in. I did tell you last Tuesday that I would be doing your live Q&A either on Sunday or Monday. I mean, Sunday was basically my only day off to go out and play in the garden, my favorite thing in the whole world to do. I should have took some pictures to show you all today. Darn, I forgot. I'll show you the next Q&A, some pictures of the garden. It'll be more growing next year, next month, so it'll look better anyway. Are you growing a garden this year? The way things are going, with the prices of food, it's not that hard to grow some things. Even if you live in an apartment, you can grow some herbs in a pot on your kitchen windowsill. You can grow anything. Lettuce, if you eat salads every day, grow them in one of them long pots and put it on your patio. You can even grow sweet potatoes. I got sweet potatoes in a big pot because I ordered too many sweet potato plants and then didn't have nowhere to put them. So I put them in a giant pot. So I'm sure they'll come out really well, hopefully. So Q&A. Welcome everybody that's coming in. They're flowing in slowly but surely. They're flowing in for the April Q&A. Yes. Hello, Petra in the chat room, and Gretchen and Julia. Katia. All right, they're rolling in, friends. They're rolling in. So if you're new here, my name is Joseph Tittel, a.k.a. Spiritman J.T., and I welcome you with infinite love and gratitude. Down below in the description, you'll find all the links to my social media. And even if you want to transfer and you look at the price of gold in the past month has gone up 20%. 20%, friends, in just a month. Just as Spirit told us to invest in precious metals over a year ago, Spirit told us to invest in gold and silver. I just heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I just heard recently from a comment from one of y'all, members of the tribe that are out there vibing with us, that there's a shortage on silver. Spirit told us that would happen. So I did buy some silver, and I want to buy more, but now I'm hesitant to buy anything. I first bought my first stocks ever. That was not a good idea. One of the Q&As is actually a good stock pick. If Spirit gave good stock picks, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. I've been living off the grid somewhere in the middle of nowhere, enjoying life to the fullest. Actually, I do enjoy life to the fullest, but you know what I mean. Spirit doesn't do that. No stock picks. No. Otherwise, I'd be at the casino reading everybody's mind, right? Look at those quick chat caches that came in from C and from Gwen Biding. Thank you so much with infinite love and gratitude. And hello to Beverly in the chat room. Yes. So going back to vegetables and growing, it's so easy for you to grow your own stuff. Like really easy. And, it's been a challenge for me moving from, Pennsylvania out here to Arizona. Now, I know a lot of people, when you say Arizona, they think I live in the hot deserts of Phoenix or Tucson. I do not. I live in the mid-high desert. Not the high desert, but the mid-high desert. So I'm about 5,200 feet in elevation. And it's been interesting trying to figure out how to grow out here. And my biggest problem was fighting the pests, the bugs, and even the rats. The rats even came and ate one of my cacti, chewed it apart, the whole side. That was 2 winters ago. It was a really bad winter, though. So if I was a rat, I'd be looking to eat anything, too. But my cacti, in my cacti garden. So it's been a challenge, but I've learned a lot, and I expect to get a lot this year. And again, I'll show you either on a Tuesday show or the next Q&A in the month of May. I'll show you some pictures of what I've done and created in the backyard. But again, growing something is so simple. And manifesting, remember, you have the power to make absolutely anything possible, even what you thought would have been impossible. See, back in the day, I used to be the type of person that would question absolutely everything. And I think that's what got me where I got and, done the amazing things that I was able to do in this lifetime, because I questioned everything. Everything, even what Spirit was telling me, I questioned it all. I had a hard time as a medium in the beginning days of telling people some of the things that Spirit was showing me because it looked absolutely insane and bizarre to me. But what I've learned is the more bizarre it is, the more it fits. So I just blurt it out to clients, and it's always been a match. But I questioned everything. You should question everything. And Spirit has done a heck of a job literally shifted me into believing things that I never thought was possible to actually be possible. So you can manifest and make things happen. One of the things I've always wanted, since for a long time was to have, fruit, kind of like a little fruit orchard of some sort, fruit trees. And, back in Pennsylvania, in Levittown, Pennsylvania, that I finally left. I used to call it Leave It Town because one day I'm going to leave it, but now it's Left It Town because I finally left it. Not that it's a bad place. It's a wonderful place, actually, but just didn't fit my vibration anymore. And all my experience, it's just been really interesting. The whole process from that and gardening there and gardening here. And it's been quite interesting. And it's so different. The people are different. It's amazing that in the United States, I guess this is every country, you can drive from like one town to the next and people are completely different vibration. If you know what I mean, it's kind of really pretty wild and interesting. Just like, people come to Sedona and they think, oh, this is going to be great because there's all these amazing spiritual people. Not. Yes, there are. Don't get me wrong. But no different than any other city. You would think that, the amazing energy here would attract good people, which it does, but it does the opposite. Everything's a battery, positive and negative. So it attracts both, the good and the bad, unfortunately. So are you going to plant a garden? Again, it's pretty simple. I don't know can I show you this? Can you see this? So see this little hanging plant here? I forget what it's called. But this is kind of what sweet potatoes do. They grow out of a pot like this, like a hanging plant. And you can grow sweet potatoes. You got to keep trimming them because they grow like crazy. But you can grow them in a pot in your house. I've actually seen sweet potatoes in like hanging up in the plants at, say, Home Depot or the nursery, but they don't say sweet potatoes. I forget. They say that, whatever the name of the scientific name of the plant is. They don't tell you it's sweet potatoes. They tell you it's a hanging plant. So you can do that in your house. You want a good sized pot, though, a huge pot, actually, to put your sweet potatoes in. You can do all that. Just like regular potatoes. What I've learned with growing vegetables is that red skin potatoes, they're the best. Because you can get multiple growths per season. You can get at least three growths of sweet potatoes because they grow very fast. Not sweet potatoes, red skin potatoes. Whereas I tried Yukon, I've tried russet potatoes, I've tried purple potatoes. What does best here is red potatoes. And even back east, I learned that volunteering, working on the organic farm. That's how I learned that red skin potatoes, you can get 3 plantings a year. Put them in like March. They grow fast. And what I do is I go to the store and I buy organic potatoes and I stick them on my window shelf in my kitchen until they grow. Once they grow, I cut them in half, sometimes in 3 or 4. Each eye is a growth, and stick it in the garden and you got yourself potatoes. It's pretty simple, friends. Pretty simple. So how many people we got rocking in the tribe now? 282. Where's everybody at tonight? Tuesdays, we got over 1,000. Yes, I have been working so hard, Jelly Belly, in the garden mainly. I just was saying that in a text message to my buddy Mike. Like, I've been kind of slacking off on the content because it's garden season, my favorite time of the year. It's very unfortunate because Mercury retrograde. I do blame Mercury on this, that our well isn't working. And I've lived in this community for 4 years. From my experience, every time a pipe broke or the well went down or the pump went down, it was every single time it was a Mercury retrograde. I try to tell these people that, and they don't listen to me. Of course they don't listen to me because they're older and they think they know it all. And I told them that they say the well's dry. I'm like, there ain't no way in HE double toothpick that well's dry. It's Mercury retrograde. I guarantee there's a problem with the pump. Guaranteed. But they're all already gung-ho on we need to find a new resolution because the well's dry. That well is not dry. But, nobody listens to me. They should listen to me, but they don't listen to me. Let's move on to some questions. Being it's Moon Day Monday, I don't know how many people are going to roll in today, but we got 282 right now. What's chat rate? I'm looking at the settings on YouTube, and I'm like, what's chat rate? What's that mean? Well, let's get rid of that. Sorry about that. I hope that wasn't playing in the background. We are in the Philippines. We do eat the leaves of the sweet potato. Yeah, that's actually interesting, Angie. Angie in the chat room was just saying. I was just saying this to somebody in the past week. That the leaves of sweet potato plants are supposed to be like spinach. You saute them up with some butter and seasonings, and they're amazing. And I've never tried it, but I'm going to this year. Because they grow like vines and they take over everywhere. And you can actually cut a sweet potato plant, like just cut it. That's not sweet potatoes. It looks like a sweet potato, but it's not. You can cut it and put it in the ground, and it'll grow roots and grow. Sweet potatoes are resilient. They are amazing. But yeah, that's true. That is absolutely so true. Where did that comment go? Y'all are talking too fast. I lost that comment. There it is. Nope. Oh, Lord. But anyway, yeah, sweet potatoes. Where Jelly Bellies? Did you delete your comment? Where'd it go? Where did it go? Anyway, moving right along. How many people we got rocking out in the tribe and vibing right now? 324, we're moving up. People are rolling in. So if you're new here, the way we do Q&A, questions and answers, each and every month, just do it once a month, and I put it out on a Tuesday show when I'm going to do it so that you can put your questions in the comments. But don't put questions out there now or in the comments now because I already have the whole list of questions that people have put into the comments over the past week. Since last Tuesday, anyway. Past 6 days. Totally lost where their comment went. That's going to bug me out for the rest of the day. Darn. Anyway. So, long story short, you can grow a garden too. You can grow your own salad right in your own windowsill of your living room or your kitchen. Especially lettuce is so easy to grow. You can grow lettuce in a little tiny pot. I actually have it growing in my greenhouse in little pots. So it's amazing. So let us move on because, the other thing is, again, our well's down. And I feel so fortunate that I can go, up the canyon and retrieve the rated number 2 water in the country, which is pretty amazing. Number 1 is somewhere in Alaska. I forget where, but the reason they say it's number 2 is because there's no farms, there's no industry, and it comes out of the mountain from beneath the Coconino National Forest. So I'm telling you, I am hooked on this water. I drink so much of this water. I use it in my tea. I use it for everything. Precious Mary Jean, when she was with us in the living world, she drank it. She loved it. She drank more water when I started. And even myself, I noticed I drank more water when I was drinking the good water. But the thing is I'm a gardener and I have to go retrieve water. And water is life. Water is life. Many of you may not remember, but back in the day, what year was that? 2017? No, maybe it was actually 2014. I did a video called The Black Snake Prophecy, and it's got over 500,000 views. It's a good first edited video I ever did. And I thought I did a damn good job. Apparently everyone else did too, because it got 500,000 views. That was about the fight over the water, and water is life. And that's when they started. Here it is right here. Water is sacred. Water is life. This carpet's on my nerves. Water is sacred. Water is life. And it sure is. So I have to, being a gardener, go up and retrieve water. I have rain barrels that I bought for the gutters to, fill up the barrels with rain. But the thing is, we're in dry season. We don't get rain. This is Arizona. We won't get rain. Hopefully we'll get rain in July when monsoon season comes. So I'm trying to figure out how much water it takes a week to water my garden and retrieve it. Because what I do is I go and retrieve the water. I fill up my rain barrels because it's for storage of the water. And last week I got 160 gallons of water and I still got some left. So I'm thinking, once the whole garden's in, it's going to take about 100 gallons a week, at least. It's a lot of water. It makes you realize how precious water is. I mean, I didn't need that to teach me that. I knew that. I've always preserved water, never left water running, always did the best I could with preserving water. It's like people in this neighborhood water their grass and they forget they put the sprinkler out, and 5 hours later, there's still water in the grass. Grass can't absorb no more than 10 minutes worth of watering. That's all you need to water. 10 minutes, your grass. That's it. 10 minutes. You know how much water that is in 10 minutes? Like 50 gallons? At least 50 gallons? It's a lot of water, friends. A lot of water. A lot of water. So let's move on to some questions. Q&A. This is the Q&A, and I'm rambling. So, go to my first one. I wanted to ask if someone dies naturally or if they were made to be unalived by someone else. I love that you guys use that same statement now, unalived. By someone else. Will their spirit be locked into the area in which they died? Or will they be able to move around without restrictions, becoming a free spirit? That's a good question. It's a really good question, actually. And as far as a free spirit, you're not a free spirit if you are tied down to the earth. A spirit who has not crossed over. And see, that's the difference to me. We have ghosts, which are earthbound spirits that are stuck here for multiple reasons. Sometimes, very often their own choice. We have spirits, which are those I connect with, deceased loved ones that have crossed over. So you got spirits and you got ghosts. You got two different ends of the spectrum. So just because somebody was unalived by somebody else, their life was taken, by somebody else, that does not ensure 100% that they're going to become a ghost or an earthbound spirit. Same with people that take their own lives. Doesn't mean they're going to instantly become an earthbound spirit. Your grandfather who passed away from the big C could become an earthbound spirit. Earthbound spirits choose not to cross over into the light for whatever reason. There's multiple reasons. So people whose lives were taken is common. They were tragically tortured and taken of their life, causes a lot of trauma. And then when they're deceased, they don't want to come to terms with it. Or they want to go chase the person that did that to them and try to do something to them. And from what I've gathered in over 3 decades of this journey as a spiritual medium, is that when we pass away, regardless of who you are, there's a doorway that opens up, basically. A doorway. The light. We've all heard about it. Go to the light, Caroline. There's peace in the light. There's truth to that. That's exact truth. And those who we are most willing to go with, to take their hand, are the ones that come for us. And I don't know what the period of time is that doorway's open. It's not long. But that doorway's open for a short period of time. Certain people, sometimes even your animals, because I say that all the time, my dogs don't come for me. I ain't going. I'm staying right here. They come for you, hoping to encourage you to go into the light. If you don't do so and that doorway closes for whatever reason, you now have become a earthbound spirit. You are stuck here. So how does a stuck spirit get unfreed? Well, that's also a very loaded question. I've crossed over, and I've had the honor of crossing over many spirits in my decades of work, but they were only the spirits that were willing to go. One of my favorite experiences was inside the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, where we did a 2-night. Now, if you watch it on TV, it's 1 night, but really it was 2 nights. We did 2 nights in the middle of the night inside the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, where Al Capone was kept. And wild experiences that was. 2 nights, and they only show you, 40 minutes of it on TV. You can find that. What is it called? Mysterious Journeys. It's on my YouTube. Going back to quite some time ago. When was that? 2008? It was a long time. It was quite some time ago, but it was a wild experience. And I was honored that I was able to cross over several spirits inside the Eastern State Penitentiary because they wanted to go and they were willing to go. But there was a whole bunch that weren't. Well, we're staying right here. We ain't going nowhere. So, it depends. Basically, say your grandpa passes and grandma's still alive, right? And grandpa don't want to leave grandma. And he passes and he sees how distraught she is, and he don't want to leave her side. So he stays at her side. He doesn't go into the light. He becomes an earthbound spirit. But here's the difference here. When grandma passes and the light opens up, they can go into that light together. So earthbound spirits that are stuck here, they don't know how to open up the doorway to get to the light. They could, I would imagine, go to a hospital and be at the same spot when somebody passes away and they can go in. I mean, I'm just, again, assuming that you could do that. Otherwise, you would need somebody like myself that knows how to open up that doorway and allow them to cross over. That's it. Otherwise, they're earthbound. So hopefully that fully answers your question that people that die, whether they pass away naturally or whether it's tragically or whether somebody else's hand is responsible for their passing, does not determine whether they cross over or not. Just like they say, what Christianity teaches you, that you're going to burn in hell if you do this, that, or the other thing. And I found that not to be true. How did I find that out not to be true? In one of my past life regressions that I experienced. In one of my past lives, it was very disturbing, actually. I was regressed by Carol Bowman, who is an author of the book Children's Past Lives, and she has a couple books. She was on my radio show podcast way back in the day. She's a good friend. She lives in Pennsylvania, and she's one of the top past life regressionists. Her Dr. Brian Weiss, who was also on my show, and she regressed me, and I went back, and long story short, I was a Russian assassinator that was sucked into by the underground Russian government to become an assassin for the government after they unalived my whole family and made me go crazy. It was all set up purposely. That's what they did to get you, to suck you into their little underground clan. That was very disturbing to me. That was very, very disturbing to me. But that past life made me realize that that whole HE double toothpick doesn't truly exist the way we're taught by Christianity or the church. It does exist, don't get me wrong. There is a dark place of evil, a lower vibrational level. It's like taking the elevator. You know, you can go up higher and higher and higher in elevation and vibration, or you can go down into the dungeon. Yeah, down. You know how they say hell is down. It's not down. You know, when I do shamanic journey with my students, we go into the underworld and the upper realm. I've had many students say, isn't the underrealm hell? No, that's just a preconceived notion from what we were taught growing up, especially in Christianity or the Catholic Church. It's not true. It's not true at all. Remember, even the Bible says Jesus forgives everybody. But there is a place, you know, you sell your soul, you're gone, baby. I would imagine you're gone. But I don't know. I don't know the answers to that. Can you choose to come back as an animal, cat, or a dog? Now, I, again, don't have... I would imagine absolutely yes. And that answer is basically based on other past life regressionists. See, I do past life regression. I can regress you. I do a class on past life regression. But that wasn't my whole decades experience and journey in my spiritual work. It's been mediumship. So that's why I say you got to go to the people who've done that their whole lives, like Carol Bowman or Dr. Brian Weiss. But yeah, from listening to their past lives, reading their books, yes, we have incarnated as different beings, not just as different animals, but different beings from different planets. See, and we're not all from the earth like we think, or we're taught that we keep reincarnating back to the earth. No, there's many other planets too. And many of the evolved spirits, the evolved souls from those different dimensions, different planets are incarnating on the earth now to help take the earth into the fifth dimension. Do you have to meditate to reach a higher vibration needed to ascend to the fifth dimension? Because if you do, I'm in real trouble. I have a hard time shutting my mind down, and it races 1,000,000 directions. And I was binge watching your videos and came across the one where the aliens were in your home. Have they come back? I've been so worried about it since I saw that video, man. Great comment, by the way. Great comment. Let's stick with the first question there. The one question. The aliens in my house, that's a whole nother story. We're not even going to go there. Bradshaw Ranch, the aliens in my house, it's all back on my YouTube going back to 2020 and 2021, before and after lockdowns. So do you have to meditate to reach a higher vibrational level? I believe anything and everything is possible, first of all. And I don't feel like there's necessarily a strict list that we have to follow. But at the same time, I absolutely, again, from decades of experience, know that meditation is the key to it all. Meditation is the key to connecting with spirit, connecting with the divine, connecting with God, connecting with your past lives, everything. So, yeah, meditation would have to play some kind of role in helping us to ascend. No doubt about it. And now you see more people meditating than ever before. You know, and I always said if I was the president of a country or United States president, the first thing I would do is mandate meditation in schools beginning in first grade or kindergarten. If kids meditated and learned to meditate in grade school, this world would be completely different. Completely different. And we would have weeded the evil out decades ago, generations ago. So yes and no to that question. It's both a yes or no. I believe it's possible that you can still reach a higher vibration without necessarily meditating, but I would absolutely believe that meditation has a whole lot to do with it. You know, and I noticed that even with clients, the more I meditate, that's why with my full session, when I connect with people's deceased loved ones, we always meditate prior. It's a must. It's a requirement from the spirits. Is it possible for a person to be coming into their gifts at an older age. Is it possible for a person to be coming into their gifts at an older age? Well, first and foremost, what do you mean by gifts? I mean, that's a loaded word right there. You know, sorry, had something in my mouth. I don't like to refer to it as gifts because when I was younger, people used to tell me in my 20s all the time, you're so gifted, you have such a gift. And to somebody in their 20s, it makes their ego grow bigger and bigger until I unalived that ego and shoved it into a dark hole somewhere. What I've come to call it is extremely heightened intuitive abilities. Why'd that go down? Extremely heightened intuitive abilities that I had ever since I was born. I wouldn't want to call it a gift because everybody's psychic and everybody's intuitive. It's just like you see a little kid, right, that starts playing piano with never having a lesson. And before you know it, this kid's playing like a master, right? And we're like, they're so gifted, which is usually something they're tapping into from their past lives, actually. But it doesn't mean that you can't learn to play piano. Doesn't mean you can't master the piano just as well. You might need to work harder at it, but it doesn't mean you can't harness it. Just like psychic abilities. If you work hard enough at it, you can harness your abilities and come to recognize them much more clearly than you do currently. So it doesn't matter. Age has nothing to do with you coming into recognizing your intuitive abilities. I would actually hope that age would actually play a big role in helping us to become more aware of our intuitive abilities. I wouldn't say gifts, though. I would say intuitive abilities, because I'm guessing that's what you're talking about here. I'm sure it's not music. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are. And now that we're going through this ascension on the planet right now, major ascension, it's opening up people. And, you know, I remember back in the day where it was me and one other psychic medium in 3 states, Pennsylvania, Jersey, and New York. There were nobody else. There were psychics, but not psychic mediums. Now they're on every corner like Starbucks, right? You know, a lot of that has to do with the ascension, and people are getting messages, but they're also all believing that they're supposed to be doing that for other people, and I don't necessarily believe that's at all the case. They're looking for the opportunity with it. Sometimes, you know, the most important thing about your intuition is utilizing it for yourself, learning how to utilize your own intuitive abilities, because, you know, for years I used my abilities for clients and never really took the advice that came through from Spirit. I remember someone kept telling me, you ever take the advice that comes through from Spirit? I'm like, no, because I don't ever remember anything. And then one day I started writing down when something was coming through for a client. I'd be like, excuse me, I want to write this down for myself. And then I started to take that advice and everything changed. Everything changed. It was quite amazing, actually. So, yeah, meditation can help you greatly. Let's see. Question. Empty lakes. Do they divert water for attacking the vegetables, the food industry, or is it to frighten us even more with the climate agenda? It's both, actually. It's a combination of both, but they're also hogging this water up for their underground cities that they have, diverting water. But there are also those like Saudi Arabia, which I talked about this on a Tuesday show before. Here in Arizona, they bought up land. They go in, they drill into the aquifer, they take all the water out, and they ship it back to Saudi Arabia. No wonder God's flooding out Saudi Arabia right now. Karma, baby. Karma. And speaking of Saudi Arabia, remember what I said? It's been a while, over a year ago, where I saw, you know, changes in power with the palace, not just in England, but in Saudi Arabia. And I saw one brother stabbing the other, or somebody stabbing each other in the back. Yeah, I feel like there's a big collapse coming of Saudi Arabia. God is hitting them hard right now. And that current power that runs Saudi Arabia, by the time we get to 2030, they ain't going to be there anymore. It's going to be interesting. Many, many interesting things are going to happen. So to stick back to this question, empty lakes. Now, if you go back to my predictions, you'll remember Spirit saying to pay attention to the lakes that suddenly lose water by a large amount. You know, little by little, you know, looking at Lake Mead, you know, we look at the levels every day, little by little. But Spirit said pay attention to a big drop in water. Water coming out of the lake suddenly is a sure sign that it's being diverted purposely. Now, I talked about this, on Tuesday. Where was that? that we were talking about that lake. Can't remember what state it was in, but that lake that they call Ghost Lake. Yeah, that's what they call it. They call it Ghost Lake. That's a good example. So Spirit says, to answer your question, empty lakes to divert water for attacking vegetables, food industry, or to frighten us from the climate agenda. It's a combination of both. Remember, the elite will have everything they need. They're going to make you suffer. That's what they want. I'm telling you, psychopathic and narcissistic people. On Tuesdays, can we do a group meditation to help with positive energy for humanity and Mother Gaia? Well, Tuesday's shows are not about that. And I've done multiple meditations. I just did a meditation within the past 2 weeks for the solar eclipse that we had. And that was a really good meditation. Spirit, they're not my meditations. Spirit directs me through these meditations. And that was a really good meditation. I really enjoyed that. And so did many of the people that actually listened to that meditation. You can go back. It was a live event. I did the eclipse watch party. And I did a 10-minute, I think it was about 10-minute meditation, 11-minute meditation to help the earth, but also yourself. It was a good one. So I won't incorporate meditations into Tuesday's show. Sorry. Tuesday's show is about topics and how they relate to predictions and prophecy. Unfortunately, when I do meditations, only maybe a third of the people listen. People don't listen to them. I mean, I do them. I do at least one a month of meditation. So you just got to go back and look at the other past meditations that I've done, because you can still use all those meditations. Will road protesting get worse? Road protesting. Oh, yeah, says the spirits. It's like that song. Oh, yeah. No, because that's what Spirit said. Oh, yeah, protesting on roads. But why did you ask about roads specifically? I'm asking a question about your question. Will road protesting get worse? Does it matter whether it's protesting on a road or protesting in front of a school or whatever? Remember what Spirit said, protesting, and it's just going to build up. New movements are going to keep coming, bigger movements to stop the craziness that's happening in the world. And we're only getting a sneak peek as to what's to come. I mean, again, by the time we step into 2030, especially when we get to the year 2032, everything is going to be completely different. Everything. Do you see the RV of foreign currency happening soon? What's the RV? What's that mean? Do you see the RV of foreign currency happening soon? Are you talking about like the reversal? I don't know what RV stands for. I do see that foreign currencies, all currencies going to change. They are pushing that very hard. That's part of the WEF movement, the W, the E, and the F. It's part of the United Nations movement. It's part of every government now pretty much in our world that is pushing for digital global currency. Not all of them are pushing for global currency. You know, some are pushing for their own digital currency, say like United States, but it all leads to a digital global currency to record, watch, and make the whole CCP a global event, not just in China, but for all of us. That's their plan. Now, I hold in the light that they're going to fail at their plan, and we will end up with digital currency, I assure you. That, you know, there'll be physical trades, but as far as the currencies we use now, they plan on wiping that out before we even get to 2030. I just saw a couple videos online of people trying to go to the bank to get money out. Like one guy was taking out $5,000 to buy a car, and they wouldn't give it to him. He had to answer all these questions. What are you doing with the money? What are you spending it on? That's my money. You should just give me my money and not ask me any questions, period. Yeah, that was very disturbing to me. Like they wouldn't give him. They would not give this dude his money at all. And they asked him all these questions that were just so uncomfortably wrong. Like, it's none of your business. Since when does a bank ask me what I'm going to do with my money? It's not your money. It's my money. The problem is they don't have no money in the banks anymore. They're weeding out the money purposely. So if you got like change, go through your change and make sure you don't have no collectible coins first. They even have an app for that. You hold it up to the coin. I have coins that I want to go through before I cash them in, but I want to cash them in. Get out any silver, what do they call that? Junk silver coins. Because they'll be worth something. They're already worth something, but they'll be worth more in time. I don't know if that silver shortage is correct that somebody said in the comments. I'll look into that for tomorrow's show. Is there something going on with our sun? Usually I feel great after being in the sun, but now it drains me. I have heard things about artificial sun since the eclipse. Okay, so the artificial sun goes back to 2019, because I remember talking about 2019, 2020. I think we were talking about it during lockdown, actually, because China created an artificial sun. And there's many videos of seeing two suns in the sky, two different suns. So as far as our sun is concerned, our own sun, not the artificial suns, but our actual sun that shines ever so brightly, yeah, there is something going on. And it's the whole entire solar system that we're in. There is a change and a shift that's happening to the entire solar system. So, they talk about the climate changing here on Earth, but and they do tell you this, but people don't connect the dots that Mars is having the biggest sandstorms ever in recorded history. Ice is melting around Saturn or one of those planets. And, it's happening in all these different planets. And again, it can't be CalFARS affecting Mars or Saturn. Definitely not. And I've done a video on this called, what is it called? The Great Purifier. The Great Purifier is the Hopi prophecy of the blue star Kachina and the red star Kachina. And the prophecies, if you read the prophecies tell you exactly everything that's happening right now. Everything. The whole entire climate thing being related in the Hopi prophecy to the red star and the blue star, both, but mainly the red star, which is known to be the planet Nibiru, Planet X, and even Planet Wormwood in the Bible aligns to the blue star Kachina. The blue star Kachina is obviously a comet, because comets, if they're close enough to the Earth, will appear to us as blue. And I just saw a thing recently that they just discovered this big red planet outside our solar system billions of miles away. But when I saw that, I was like, is it really billions of miles away? Are you just telling us that to make us feel secure while you build your underground bunkers to make sure that you're all good to go by 2029 when the planet or the comet Apophis comes? Right? Apophis. The god of destruction, right? So, and I tell you not to worry about it. It ain't going to help you. It ain't going to do you any good at all to worry about it. Just be well, grow your food, do well. But even the Hopi prophecy talks about the grandfathers and grandmothers and the natives say to their grandchildren that in the future they need to go to higher elevations because it's going to be too hot. We're going to get a pretty big taste of too hot this coming summer. Like right here, I was just talking to my bug guy, Brian, today, and he pointed this out. I don't notice. He's like, it's hotter this year than it was last year. I'm like, it's only April. He's like, exactly, and I have my air on. He's like, I didn't have my air on last year. I'm like, I don't remember that. But he's probably right. So, yeah, protests are going to get worse. Oh, I said that already. The sun, yes, there is something going on with the sun, and that's going to cause the sun flares. And remember in my channel predictions, I said in channel predictions that people would take to the streets to look at the skies of what's coming. And, I thought that might be, Apophis in 2029, but that's far off from now. Quite a few years. Well, now they're talking about this star system that's going to blow up in the skies in September that everybody's going to be able to see. Interesting, right? Very interesting. So, yeah, there's something going on, not just with the sun, but with the Earth, with Saturn, Mars, Pluto, and all the other planets as well. There's something major going on. And I say, without a doubt, it's the Hopi prophecy, the blue star, red star Kachina, and Nibiru. No doubt about it. So now, what is going on beneath the Euphrates, somebody asks? Well, now, I did a video called Prophecy in Plain Sight. Prophecy in Plain Sight. And that's what was going on around beneath the Euphrates. I don't think there's anything going on beneath there now, because whatever was beneath there was released 2 years ago when I did that video, Prophecy in Plain Sight. The Euphrates River is drying up. We all know it. And Spirit said it's going to dry up even more this year. Thank you, Coney Island Mermaid, for your chat cash. I appreciate that with infinite love and gratitude. So what's going on beneath the Euphrates? Other than the demons being released in accordance to prophecy. And look what happened. Actually, look what's happening in Israel and the Middle East right now. Right? What, not even a year and a half after the whole Euphrates River dried up, and I did that video on prophecy in plain sight. And that's what the prophecy says. The demons, 4 of the fallen angels were bound beneath the Euphrates River. And when the Euphrates dries up, the demons will be released to reap havoc upon the land. And it seems like they're reaping havoc upon the land right now in Israel. Today's the day they're supposed to do that, get rid of the red heifer and their horrific, sad little thing that they're going to do. I don't want to say the word, but you know what they're going to do with the red heifer. I tried to look it up to see if they were going to, you would think they'd show it live online or something. I read something where they changed the date, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. Does anybody know anything about that red heifer thing that's supposed to be happening today on this 22 Master Day? Will there be a call up from the UK Army for national service during these trying times? Will there be a call up from the UK Army and the national service during these trying times? No. Maybe perhaps in the future, prior to 2030, but not in the near future, says the spirits. When are they going to expose the Catholic Church in Rome for all the underground, I can't say the words, but how can I put it out there? Nookie and caught up in traffic, those two. So they're asking, is there ever going to be exposure of this within the Catholic Church? And all the abuses and all of the abuse. Well, yes, of course. Even that's in the prophecy, in the fall of the church. That's in some prophecies. The fall of the church is coming and the truth being revealed. It's already being revealed. It's already, look at all the bones of the little ones they found down beneath the Vatican. Back in, I think that was 2020 as well, the year 2020. They kept that really hidden, but they couldn't because we talked about it on here a couple years ago, back when I lived at the other house. So yeah, back in 2020, maybe 2019, but I think it was 2020. Pretty sure it was. So it's coming. It's being exposed. It's going to be even more exposed according to Spirit when the next Pope falls, which will be in the near future, within the next year. I say prior to the end of this year, likely. But that's when more truth will be flowing out. And remember my vision. Spirit's reminding me of this right now. Remember I had a vision of a big dark entity breaking out from the walls of the Vatican and heading towards the city, towards Rome or wherever it was. I can't remember. But remember that vision? I remember that vision very clearly. So Spirit's reminding me of that vision. So I would think that vision has something to do with answering your question as well. So we'll have to sit back and wait because it's going to be interesting. 2025 is going to be a wild ride. We got to get through 2024 first, but 2025 is going to be wild. Remember, I did a video called Tribulation many years ago. 2025, 2032, that window. Can you ask Spirit about the impact of JFK Jr., please and thank you. Much love and happiness. Can you ask about the impact of JFK Jr.? What do you mean by that? The impact of JFK Jr. I already have my list of questions. Thank you. Again, the way we do this is I put it out on a Tuesday show when I'm going to do the live Q&A. I list the questions and I go through my list. So hold off on questions in the chat room, please. And thank you for your chat cash. The impact of JFK Jr., you know what I found was really interesting is just once again, his sister came out bashing her own brother. Like, what a dirtball. Like, how awful is that to do to your own brother? Because they're paid for it. Paid and bought, right? Like, how dare you? Like, it just made me want to vomit really badly. when I saw her going up against it and the whole family going up against him. Yeah, because they're all paid. They're kept in the little rich elite little circle because, and this guy's speaking truth. And I talked about JFK Jr. many, many times. And unfortunately, he's not going to get very far. But what they're so afraid of is that if you vote for him, they're saying it's a vote for DT. First of all, you got to be crazy to vote for who's in there now. I mean, come on. $98 billion or $96 billion going to countries to fight conflicts? I'm sorry, I'm anti-conflict, friends. I don't know about you, but no, there's no need. You know how much money that is? $300 for every single citizen of America. $300 each. That adds up to actually $99 billion. If you take $332 million and you times $300, it's $99 billion. So it's just a couple of extra $1 billion to give us all $300 each. That's what they could be doing for America right now. But you know what else they could be doing? They could be taking that money and take all of our homeless veterans off the streets, house them, feed them. I'm all about that. Give that money to them. Clean up our country instead of feeding conflicts. It makes me sick. I tell you, I don't plan on voting because I feel like it's all just a big joke. But if I were to vote this year, I'd go for JFK Jr., to be honest with you. Just because they're going against him like that just makes me want to vote for him. Just because of that reason. His whole family goes against him when he speaks truth. Sad. The whole thing's a show, friends. The whole thing. See that guy kind of, ignited himself? That's sad. Did you see the sign he was holding? Biden and Trump together are planning a fascist co-op. I wouldn't be surprised. I told you, right wing, left wing, same bird. And after handing over $96 billion, how much money that is? It's so much money. So that they, the Ukrainians can go buy more beach houses, multi-million-dollar beach houses like the one that Zelensky's building in Miami right now. Millions and millions of dollars. That's where the money is going. That's why they're approving it, because they all get some in their pockets. It's unbelievable. I can't wait till all this corruption comes to an end. It will come to an end eventually, says the spirits. What is really happening with governments letting illegal immigrants all over the place? Here in the UK alone, so far, 700,000. And they have been housed in posh hotels with security, not letting the average Joe anywhere near them. Yeah, we got the same thing here in the United States. You can't go near these places. It's like highly secure. This is their way to get votes, number one. But this is a part of the UN's, their agenda. It's in the papers. Read the paperwork for the 2030 agenda. Push immigrants into all these other countries. They're doing it on purpose. This is a way to do their world fascism co-op of the world, to take over and make this a slave planet. Worse than it already was. Way worse than it was, because now they have digital stuff to track everything. The mark of the beast, friends. It's in the Bible. It's coming. It's already here. It's just not being initiated. In China, it is. In China, it's just crazy. Crazy what's happening there. They don't show you everything that's happening there because they don't want you to know that that's coming to your front doorstep soon. If they can help it, and they're going to push it, and they're going to be pretty successful until people awaken, and then that becomes a literal civil conflict in the whole world. Speaking of civil conflicts, I just watched that movie last night. I don't need your civil war. That movie was awful. Do not waste your money. Do not waste your time. Your time is precious. That movie sucked lollipops. Big time. Big time. Giant lollipops. That's how bad it was. That movie was bad. The only symbolism, I watched it to see if there was any symbolism like Leave the World Behind. Only symbolism I saw in that. It was interesting. I don't want to ruin it for you, but I tell you, don't even waste your time watching the movie. It was like one of the worst movies I watched in 10 years. It was just an awful movie. Just boring. It was stupid. It just wasn't a good movie. But the interesting points was, of course, the United States being broken up into different unions, just as I said in predictions about 3-4 years ago. That was interesting. And the ones that were fighting to keep America, of course, were Texas, Florida. What was the other one? Wisconsin, I think was one of, no, Missouri. Missouri was one of them. Colorado was another one in the movie. And then they showed them invading D.C., Washington, D.C., making the Kennedy, is it Kennedy? No, it's the Lincoln Memorial go boom in the Capitol building. All things that I said in past predictions, which is interesting. I would not want to see that happen. America needs to become the America it was meant to be. That's all there is to it. So what is happening with all those illegal immigrants? That's what's happening. It's all part of their paper. You got to read the paperwork. You got to go in and read the files. They put it right on their website for you, Agenda 2030. Go read it. It tells you right in there exactly why they're doing it. On purpose. This is to get you all into one area. When they push people out of the countries that they don't want you to be in anymore, because they have a map of how the world's going to look like in their future where you're not allowed to go there. Like, actually, where I live, you're not allowed to be here. Nobody's allowed to be here. You only are allowed in the cities. Only the elite are allowed to come here. They literally have a map of this, friends. A map on their websites to tell you the future world where you can't go. So drive everybody out of the areas, push them into cities, cause more conflict, and keep you all together. It's easier to depopulate things when you're all in one area together. You know, it's just easier. It's easier to control, not depopulate. Excuse my wording there. It's easier to control people when they're all together. Depopulate doesn't matter. That's another thing altogether. Is there anything, speaking of depopulation, is there anything to the Drudge Report prediction? Do y'all remember that? I talked about that about 2 years ago, actually. The Drudge Report prediction. If you remember, that prediction said that 80 or so % of the population of the U.S. will not be there in 2025. And thank you for everything. That was the comment. So is there anything to the Drudge Report? You notice they changed it too, by the way. You know, they took it down and they changed it when people started talking about it. It went viral a couple of years ago. We all talked about it. I remember talking about it, and they showed the population, like you said, 80% less. Well, you know, and that was 2 years ago. So, and they're saying 2025, it's going to be that much less. That's not true. Maybe by 2030, it could be very, very plausible. But I hold in the light that they're not going to get their way, that the light's going to win in the end. And when we meditate, we take care of ourselves. We eat the right. Speaking of vibration and raising vibration. See, and that's the other thing when people say, oh, you need to raise your vibration. No, you need to raise your vibrations more like it. You don't tell people that. You just don't tell people that. Like, that's a low vibrational thing to say to somebody. You need to raise your vibration. That just annoys the hell out of me, friends. Like, do not tell people that. Like, who are you to tell somebody they need to raise their vibration? Now, we all need to raise our vibrations. All of us. Not you, not her, not him. All of us. You can't just point to one person and say, oh, you need to raise your vibration. It's just so rude. I think it's just kind of rude, actually. Just darn right rude. But so many things can change our vibration. Your thinking, the words you say, everything has a vibration. Your words are spells. Spells. Why did they say spelling? Spelling? Oh, you're putting a spell by using words. They are powerful. Very, very powerful. So everything affects vibrations. The food you eat, some foods have higher vibrations than others. I know that like certain foods are good for your intuition, like blueberries. Any kind of blue or purple fruit raises your intuitive abilities, raises vibration, and everything affects our vibration. The chemtrails they spray us with, that's why they do it, to lower people's vibrational levels. So, you know, it's different. It varies for everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. But going back to this Drudge Report prediction that 80% of the population of the U.S. won't be there in 2025, no, that's just their wishful, sickful thinking. 2030 would be, again, more plausible with their Agenda 2030 papers, if you read that all. I don't worry about that. I'm not concerned about that at all. You should not be concerned about that. What is concerning is that they hurried up and took it down when people started talking about it. So, I take it as, well, we caught on to their little plan and now they can't do it, right? People started talking about it. They changed the website completely because it doesn't say that now. It says something different now. Or it don't say anything, one or the other, but it don't say it anymore because I went to go look for it again and it was gone, completely gone. You can find it in, archives, but you can't find it on their website. They changed that Drudge Report quick. And this is why we do predictions and things. We get the information out. The more people that know about it, the easier it is for us to prevent it or divert it into a different direction completely. What does the weather look like for London, UK going to be like? What do I look like, your weatherman girl? Huh? UK, prepare for hurricanes. That's right, hurricanes. I know hurricanes is an East Coast, United States kind of thing, Florida and all that, but prepare for hurricanes, says the spirits. Prepare to see tornadoes in the UK. And just overall, prepare for extreme weather disaster no matter where you live. No matter where you live. Especially with their little technology that they're pushing out there to make this whole agenda look better for them. You got to watch. It's hard to tell what's natural nowadays and what's not natural. Look what happened in Dubai, friends. You know what happened with all the floods in Dubai, but did you know that they just admitted that they cloud seed it right before? Cloud seeding is a technology where they go in and inject, I don't know what, but some kind of chemicals into the clouds and it makes rain happen. Well, they did that right before the Dubai floods. And Dubai got more rain than in a year in one day, in a few hours. Biggest floods ever in history. And they're making it, what's really funny about this is how some of these mass media outlets are saying it's because of the climate. No, it's because they cloud seed it, you dum-dums. They admitted that they did it. It's just the funniest thing ever. They cloud seed it and they caused the worst floods ever. Then I have deja vu, like we talked about this last year. I forget where else did they do that. Was it Vietnam? I think it might have been Vietnam. They cloud seed it and then they got the worst floods in history. See, now what's going to happen is they're not going to admit that they're cloud seeding anymore. They're just going to do it and not tell you. Right? California, same thing. They cloud seeded it right before those big floods came. Funny. So yeah, there's your weather for the UK. Get ready for hurricanes. California, get ready for big hurricanes. Do you see the rapture taking place in the future? Well, that's another loaded question because, spirits never told me anything about rapture. So if there were such a thing, I would say not in my lifetime. Spirits never said anything about it, ever, about people leaving or certain people. Although we've talked about the rapture in the way of prophecy and how the Hopi Native people, the Hopi Native legends say that during the last big flood, the Noah's flood in the Bible, and every ancient culture has a story about a great flood. And the Hopi say that the star people came from the stars, came down to the earth and took the Hopi people off the earth before the great flood. And then when the waters settled down, they put the Hopi people back to spread out in the four corners of the Midwest of the United States. Doesn't that sound a little bit like a rapture to you? Remember Neil Young's song? I dreamed I saw a silver spaceship flying in the yellow haze of the sun. There were children flying and colors flying all around the chosen ones. All in a dream, all in a dream. The loading has begun, loading up the UFOs, to take us to our new home in the sun, out in outer space somewhere. So, that was my conclusion to the whole rapture thing. Whereas Christians say, oh, you don't repent and you aren't there, you're not going. I don't believe that's the truth. I hate to say it, but I do believe that, people are going to start disappearing. And I think there's something more deeper than that just being Jesus taking the chosen ones. I don't feel like Jesus would do that. I feel like Jesus would take everybody. If Jesus could. Jesus would take us all. Not just you or her. That would be awful. That would be an awful, horrible thing to do to people. To say, oh, you get to go, but you don't. I'm sorry, the God I worship wouldn't do that. At all. We all go together or we all don't go. One or the other. I mean, when you agree, I don't know. Some of the things that it says in that Bible are just horrific. And I don't know. I wouldn't think any God with a heart would do things like that. It's the aliens, friends. Some people believe Jesus was an alien. I think we're all aliens. So yeah, I guess maybe Jesus was too, if we all are. Because we were all seated on this planet once upon a time. He will take all the believers. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I think that would be awful. I believe wholeheartedly in Jesus. As a matter of fact, there he is right there in front of me. Jesus and Mary. But I don't feel like they would do that. To me, all believers? Is it all believers? All believers? Then that would be different. But according to some churches, not all churches, but according to some churches, it has to be this, or you don't get to go. I'm sorry, I wouldn't think Jesus would do that. Jesus, if you wholeheartedly believe in Jesus, I think you go no matter what. Doesn't matter. And there are people that don't believe that. So yeah, they shouldn't go. I wouldn't take them either if I was Jesus. But it sounds crazy to me. Thank you, Solid Rock. Solid as a rock. Who sung that? Tina Turner. So, that's my view on the rapture. This could also make sense when it comes to going from one dimension to the other, right? Because, lots of people talk about going from 3-dimensional to the 4 to the 5D. And, if you're not in that higher vibration, we'll say higher vibration. If you're not there and you're not connected, and to me, you got to listen to what the Hopi natives say. If you're not connected to the earth and you're not connected to the spirits of the earth, you're not connected. So therefore, you wouldn't be one of the chosen ones. If you're polluting the earth and damaging the earth and being evil to the earth, then you wouldn't be able to go. Now that would make sense to me as well. But the Hopi, again, they talk about that. And they say it's the star people that come down and take them, the chosen ones, because they call themselves the chosen ones that are taken off the planet and brought back. And why the Hopi? The Hopi live off the land. They grow all their own food. They lived off the land. We're talking again thousands of years ago during the Great Flood, as they tell in the Hopi stories and in the Hopi legends. So rapture can be a loaded question, quite honestly, because rapture in the Hopi's eyes is the star people coming. The space aliens. Rapture in the eyes of Christians is Jesus coming and only taking people that believe in Jesus. So which one is it? Because there's lots of prophecies, or is it just shifting from one dimension to the next? Where it has nothing to do with none of them. Nothing to do with the aliens, nothing to do with Jesus. It has to do with your own personal vibration. And once you are connected to the earth, like the Hopi people tell us, and not disconnected by being on your phone or, walking around like zombies, because that's what the Hopi say too, that humans will walk around their man-made cities like zombies. That's happening already with fentanyl and with people being glued to their phones. So listening to the Hopi and being in that other higher vibration, we'll just call it that, whatever you want to call it, being more connected to earth is really the reality of it. They're the ones that ascend to the 5D. There's your rapture right there. That would make more sense to me. That would make a whole lot of sense. Because I remember, and you've heard me say this before if you've been following me long enough, that in the future there's going to be people running around screaming, pulling their hair out, saying, "Oh my Lord, Armageddon's here, we're all going to perish." And then there's going to be the other group of us that are like, "Wow, what a beautiful day. What can I do to make it better?" What side of the fence are you on? I know what side I'm going to be on. Interesting topic. A loaded topic for sure. Moving right along. How many more? What time is it? Oh, it's early still. I know. Have I been here? How long have I been here? How long we been here, y'all? How long we been rattling for? There's still only 682 people here. We only been here for 20 minutes. Is that right? Is that accurate? That doesn't sound accurate. Anyway, would Spirit give a great stock pick? We mentioned that already. And nope. Let me tell you, if I get a great stock pick, you'll be the first one to hear. Predictions for the UK we talked about. If I would like to know if you have any insight on our weather conditions for any part of MN. I guess you're talking about Minnesota. Our weather was close to nothing. Very unusual. And that gives wonder to what's to come forward. It worries me greatly. Darling, you should not worry greatly. Remember, your greatest fears become a reality because you feed them energy. Do not feed your greatest fears energy. Instead, feed your greatest dreams, aspirations, and goals your energy. Forget about that stuff. So our winter was close to nothing too, actually, here in the mid-high deserts of Arizona. Whereas, not this past winter, but the winter before that, man, it was awful. I mean, we're buried in snow. From winter solstice till spring equinox, there was snow on the ground. This past season, I think I had to snow blow twice the neighborhood. That was it. Whereas the year before, I felt like I was snow blowing every week. It was awful. So much snow. So much. So, yeah, it was a little bit of a nothing here, too. But that's not unusual. It's really not. We go through those cycles where we get a lot, and then we don't get nothing, and then we get a lot. Last year, this time, we were dealing with major flooding in the canyon here. From all the snow melting and all, March especially. Last March, major flooding. So the weather is shifting and changing, and a lot of it is due to manipulation, unfortunately. Major manipulation. It's all part to help to get people to feed into their agenda. You know, make things happen, put more fear out there, and so forth. Some of it's natural, too. It's not all unnatural. Again, the Nibiru, the Hopi prophecy, all of that. In accordance to the Hopi, as Nibiru approaches our solar system, it affects the magnetic everything of the Earth, which in turn brings more radiation to the planet, which would be the cause of more illness or disease. That would make sense. The Hopi say it in their prophecy. But it also said that it would shift the weather. And again, the Hopi elders tell their grandchildren to go to the high mountains where it will be cooler. That'll be too hot. And there won't be no water in the lower elevations because it'll be too hot. So that would make more sense when it comes to weather. Someone asked any predictions for UK. Well, I could do predictions every Tuesday. You just have to listen every single Tuesday. UK is just like the rest of the world, a big mess. When you ask about UK, I just see major protests breaking out. I don't know what for, but something big's going on in your parliament. Corruption. Says the spirits. It's a big corruption sign. So I'm going to, being I'm seeing a vision of a sign that says corruption lighting up red, I'm going to say that corruption is going to be exposed in the UK in the near future. Major corruption. Not even there. Remember what I said about the White House in the United States, that there was going to be a great shaking to the White House. A great shaking. Oh, it's coming. The truth is coming out about both candidates. Isn't that interesting how in the United States we only have two candidates we can choose from? Both that don't seem like a good option at all. It's just crazy. It's meant to be that way. They set it up purposely to be that way. So, does Spirit have any insight as to when the flooding, earthquakes, and storms will stop? I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Thank you, Joyce, with infinite love and gratitude for your chat cash. I appreciate that so much. So much. So again, that question was, does Spirit have any insight when the flooding, earthquakes, and storms will stop? I hate to tell you, they ain't stopping. They're getting 10 times worse than they are now. There's no stop to this. Not until we get into the mid-2030s. We're just heading into the craziness. So, again, being prepared at all times. You know, that's why I'm an ocean person. I love being on the beach, but I didn't move to California or the beach purposely because I knew in the future you're not going to want to be there just because. Just like I've been talking about visions of a great big tsunami wave coming. And I feel like we're on the edge of that. And I really feel like somewhere around the area of Indonesia is going to get wiped out with a tsunami in the near future. You know, that next eclipse, let me show you real quick. This next eclipse, it comes in October. So number one on this map here is the one that just crossed over. Was that the one that just crossed? Yeah, crossed over on April a couple weeks ago. And then the next one, October 2nd, is placing that X right there in the Pacific Ocean. Friends, that's a sign if I've never seen one before. That is a big sign. They are going to get waffled big time there. All right, it's getting late. I got to move on here. I got to prepare for tomorrow's show. Where else? We got some more questions here. Can you see? Where is that? Oh, so do you see anything around Western Canada, Alberta, Saskatchewan? We are experiencing drought, and I am hoping rains will come soon to help our farmers. They're purposely droughting your farmers, according to Spirit, purposely droughting your farmers. I'd have to pull this up on a map. Hold on, let me pull it up on a map. Let me pull it up on the map. My computer will move a little faster. You know what? I should just do it on my phone. It'd be faster on my phone. Let's look. Just want why I'm looking for it on the map purposely is because I just said that UK is going to get lots of hurricanes. So is Canada. Yeah, okay, I thought that's where Alberta was. I wasn't sure, but I wanted to make sure. So you're kind of in the middle of the state, country, whatever you want to say. You're kind of in the middle. You're not near the edge because it would be more towards, let's see, like British Columbia, BC, where I'd send hurricane warnings. You got a lot of lakes around you. You got Lesser Slave Lake, Utakuma Lake. So to answer your question, you will get water. You're not in the hurricane area. I wouldn't worry about that, but I would but I would tell you that there will be floods come the fall months. I don't know why the fall months, but fall months, be prepared for floods, especially when you're that dry. And then suddenly you get all that rain, you're guaranteed to flood. The water is not going to be able to absorb into the earth fast enough. So just be prepared in your area, Western Canada, for floods and even potential tropical storms from the hurricanes that are going to hit the west coast of Northern America. Will there be a WW3? I kind of feel like we're already in it. And it's a different kind of conflict. I feel like it's, they're already doing it. It's a spiritual war, friends. It's a spiritual war against the darkness who is taking over our farmland, taking over our food. Did you see that Tyson Foods now wants to signed an agreement with a bug manufacturing company to put bugs in Tyson Foods? Before you know it, you're not going to be eating chicken nuggets from Tyson. You're going to be eating bug nuggets. That's their plan. I'll talk more about that thoroughly tomorrow. Wow, Tiny Tank, that is sweet of you. I'm not doing cryptocurrency predictions, sorry. I am not doing it. You have to go back to what I said in my, what was it called? Economic prediction video. What I said, I don't remember what I said. I'm not going into that. Again, I have all these questions already listed out for me. Put that question in for the next Q&A, and I will definitely touch base on that question. So again, I ask you on Tuesdays to post your questions. I go through all those questions, I weed them out, and I read all those questions so that I know that I can do this in an order, and I put them in the right order, like I put all the climate ones together and all the ones together that needed to be together to make it flow better. So save that for the next time. I don't remember what I said about Bitcoin, but I think they're all going to, I know they're all going to take a dive. They already just did take a dive. I know Ethereum, is that what it's called? That one just took a dive. A lot of stocks just took a dive. It's not really a good time. I've been watching Bitcoin closely, waiting for it to drop so I can throw some money in there. Just a little bit of money. And it's just kind of staying still lately, I noticed. It's just kind of going a little up, a little down, a little up, a little down. I mean, it went up a lot, but then it just kind of froze. And I feel like it's just staying frozen for a while. I'm waiting for a big dip to come, though. I've been watching Bitcoin and a couple of them for a while, waiting for the big dip. Spirit said there was going to be a big dip. Now, again, putting a timeline on predictions is impossible. Sometimes Spirit gives us dates, but other than that, I do not put timelines or timestamps on predictions. Only the Lord knows when things will happen. But wait for that dip. I'm waiting for it myself. And that dip might not come till like fall. Because remember what I said in my world predictions about October and economical stuff. Not just for the United States, but for everything. Bitcoin, doesn't matter. Cryptocurrencies, stocks, all of it. It's all going to take a big dip. Best thing you can be investing in is what Spirit told us 2 years ago, silver and gold. And look, if you would have bought gold even just over a month ago, you would have made a 20% profit. That's what Spirit says. The spirits. Do you think government will pass legislation to cause cryptocurrency to be considerably less desirable or even go away? Oh, there's a good question for you, T. The government wants to make their own cryptocurrencies. And as I said in the past, Bitcoin to me is going to hang on strong. Ethereum's going to hang on. Ethereum will tank out, but it'll end up in the future, and this could be a decade ahead. Ethereum will outdo Bitcoin in the future. And even, what's the other one? Bitcoin Cash? Even that one will start to do greatly next year, especially according to Spirit. But as far as passing legislation to cause cryptocurrencies to be less desirable, they're going to do that to the little ones. And I've been telling you that and warning you. I told you they were going to steal, that some crypto companies were going to steal people's money and run. And look what happened. Look what Sam Bankman-Fried and all did. That was in my predictions. I warned people not to put their money there. And a lot of people that listened to me actually took their money out. And Mr. Bankman didn't get any of their money, thankfully, because they listened. They will make some go away completely. They want theirs to be the only. But there's certain ones they're not going to be able to get rid of. Bitcoin's going to be one of them. Ethereum's going to be another. Bitcoin Cash is another. They're not going to get rid of them. They're going to come up with their own. But they are going to pass legislation to make it much more challenging for crypto companies to even start up or survive. Remember, that's what they want. They want their own cryptocurrency. They want you to be digital. So that's their own currency that they can manipulate, put in whatever numbers, and say how much you can spend and how much you're not allowed to spend. The mark of the beast, 100%. That's why I tell you, grow your own food, friends. Grow your own food. Can I ask if there's any uprising in the earth that would end any authoritarian I can never say that word always. Authoritarian regimes. Please look into it. Thanks a lot. So will there be an uprising on the earth that would end authoritarian... I'm tongue twisted. Yeah, that's the way the world's heading. The golden age is freedom. Not being locked up in like they are in Cuba or China and all these other places. That's what they want for the world. And for some people, they'll succeed. For those that are dwelling on that fear and let the ego rule everything, they're going to be a part of that, stuck in that matrix. You don't have to be. You can ascend just like most of us will. And again, there will be those that will be checking out too. Remember in my past predictions about massive people deciding to exit as per their soul contracts. I said that last year, and look at what we've seen due to the conflicts over the past 2 years. Between the UKR conflict, what's happening in the Middle East, that's a large amount of people exiting, not by choice, but in their soul contracts, it's by choice. We're going to see more of that, especially come 2025. That goes back to that Drudge report that somebody asked that question about earlier. Not to change the answer to that question or anything, but in general, yeah, we're going to see exit points, massive exits in the future. More when we get closer to 2030. So, and again, it's not to really concern yourself about. What you can be concerned about is just living your life to the fullest. So that, when it does happen or when you do exit this earth, you don't look back with regret that you didn't live it to the fullest. So live life to the fullest. It's the best thing you can do. Thank you, Gem Spirit Messages. I know I got to wrap this up in a moment. Let me get down to these last few questions on my list because there were a lot of them today. Where was I? Will they implement digital passport ID 2025? Well, they already did. I mean, they're already implementing it, especially like in certain countries, I think Africa. So they're already doing that. I did a video on that called Mark of the Beast. That was a couple years ago too. Mark of the Beast. So they're already trying to implement that digital passport ID. They're already doing that with our regular passports too and changing it all over and making it different. So yeah, that's part of their control, part of what they want to do. What we need to do is be the resistance. Where was it? Oh, somebody asked about the Illuminati cards. Where are my Illuminati cards? Should be right here. They must be in the... Oh, there they are. I knew they were here somewhere. Somebody asked about these cards. The Illuminati. Illuminati. I can't even show you some of these cards because I tried doing videos on certain cards. Like what happened in that year 2001 in New York City. I showed you cards that relate to that, and they took it down. Actually, they took it down on TikTok, not on YouTube, which I found be pretty ironic. But somebody asked in the questions about the Illuminati cards, and I have two different series here, and who invented them. And I say, just Google it, my friend. Just Google it. If you want to read more about them and who invented them and all that, just go right to their web. They actually have their own website, too. And if you're not familiar with the Illuminati cards, there's lots of them that were sent to me by some of you beautiful people. Like there's George Bush one. I don't have them in order. They're all mixed up. I really will do a video on this eventually. Like, look at this one. Wait, let me pull this up so I can see myself. Don't forget to smash the statue. NWO. Remember the whole smashing statues that happened? Destroy our history? Remember that? These cards were done in 1993, by the way. 1992 and 93. So how did they know that? How did they know that they were going to start smashing statues? Look, we hear this on the news often coming out of DT's mouth. It's a witch hunt, he says all the time, right? Interesting that we hear that phrase so much now, all of a sudden. We didn't used to hear it. And I like this card here, Power to the People, because it is power to the people, friends. It's power to the people. But yeah, you can look it up online. There's a whole website. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. I forget. But it was one guy who was raided by the CIA after they came out with him. He used to have a, what was it, BBS bulletin board. Remember those things you used to call in on way back in the day? Am I dating myself? And he was raided by the CIA. And those cards are creepy as can be. If you ask me, super duper creepy. I've talked about them many times, and I'm doing the PP dance right now. The letter P dance. So I got to go in just a second. What was the other question here? So something, do you see anything happening in Scotland in the future? Not just with Earth has in store, but politically, as we have UK elections later this year. I know you had mentioned a possible earthquake. Yeah, you will begin to experience small earthquakes in Scotland. Nothing really to be completely overly concerned about at the moment. And in the potential future, there could be big waves that hit the shores nearby in Ireland and Scotland. Again, not to be overly concerned about at this point in time. That'd be closer to 2030. And yeah, of course, political upheaval. The whole UK, and not even just UK, the whole world is going into political upheaval, a fight for our freedom, friends. It is a spiritual war to keep our freedom. And they want to make big changes to Scotland, according to Spirit. They, meaning, I guess, the elite, The evildoers want to make big changes and take more control of Scotland. And that is going to anger the people like never before. And the people will come out in masses to protest and fight for their freedom. That includes problems with the farms out there too. So I don't know what's going on. I don't follow the news for Scotland, but I would imagine that your farmers are going to be having quite a fight to deal with as well. I would imagine you're doing that already, fighting for your rights there. Somebody. Where was I? I lost my train of thought. Oh, it doesn't tell me how long I've been on here for. Oh, there it is. Woo. No, it doesn't tell me. Weird. But I know I got to go because it's past dinner time and I got to go to the party and I got to prepare for tomorrow's show. Lots to prepare for tomorrow, but I'll address whatever I wasn't able to address tonight on tomorrow's show. So keep an eye out. I'll tune in more on that and everything else and the economy. And again, if you're new here and you haven't been here before, every Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time predictions update. We talk about what's happening in the world, how it relates to predictions and prophecy with new predictions each and every week. And I will be back tomorrow with Tuesday's Tea Time. Episode number 114, I think, is tomorrow. But I got to boogie out of here because I'm doing the pee-pee dance right now. Like big time. And I thank you. I will, again, if I missed anything, I'll double check and address it on tomorrow's show. I'll look into more, see if Spirit gives me any more information about the economy and cryptos as well. We'll see what spirits say about that. So don't miss tomorrow. Be here to be square. Be here, be square, whatever that's supposed to mean. But until the next time, beautiful friends, thanks for hanging out for this April Q&A, and I'll let you know when the next Q&A is on a Tuesday so you can get your questions out to me. Till tomorrow, have a beautiful rest of your day. Celebrate life, celebrate you, and remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Why? Why not? Because you're awesome. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. Sleep well. Sweet dreams.